Hey there, it's Radar for On the Radar Entertainment blog with another weekly baseball observation. Despite Carlos Gonzalez being gone from the Cubs, there are still plenty of days where Chris Bryant's playing corner outfield, and their new youngster, Robel Garcia, he's playing outfield too. Which also means that you put Hayward in center field, and it's just not what you want to do. He's probably the best defensive right fielder in all of baseball. Putting him in center field with the Bryant or Robel in the corner and Schwarber in left field just is not the best idea. And the Cubs really don't have a leadoff hitter outside of Almora, who would be the typical leadoff hitter because back in the day it was all about the fastest guys in baseball. But they decided, you know what, we're just going to continue our Schwarber leadoff, so that's exactly what they're doing. Then you got the Yankees, who are playing DJ LeMahieu in the leadoff spot and batting Aaron Judge second. Aaron Judge is a middle-of-the-order hitter, and without Stanton on your roster right now because he's injured, him batting second doesn't make the most sense with LeMahieu should be batting second, and then DJ LeMahieu is playing a lot of third base and first base because they need to have Didi Gregorius and Giovanni Urshela and Gleyber Torres get at bats as well. Now the Red Sox, there's no need to put your defensive caliber catcher in Vasquez at first base or third base. First base is okay, but not third base. And then they're playing Sam Travis in left field. That it was a good thing to have him on the roster because both your first basemen are injured. But now that you don't have Eduardo Nunez, who can play pretty much everywhere, and you only have Brock Holt and Marco Hernandez, who can play everywhere, that leaves two guys to play second base and cover shortstop and third base and the occasional outfield. But yes, playing Sam Travis in left field, it seems like when Steve Pearce comes off the DL, he may see some time at third base or left field because Mitch Moreland's not going to see time at those positions. That's why Travis, as the young player, he gets the opportunity to play wherever. Then you got Moncada for the White Sox batting second. I know Tim Anderson's injured, but the second spot is where a guy like John Jay should be because he's a contact hitter. Now the Sox have put Moncada cleanup when I think he should be batting third. That's another issue. And then instead of Leori Garcia playing left field because the Sox decided to bring up Adam Engel for Charlie Tilson, even though he doesn't have the greatest arm, they're playing him in right field. John Jay should be playing right field exclusively on this team, and Garcia should be playing left field if he's not playing the infield. Now, the Blue Jays, again, there's no need to play Brandon Drury at shortstop. You have 3 or 4 guys on your roster who have played more career innings at shortstop or in the middle infield than him. And they're still doing the dumb experiment of Gurriel in left field, and some days that means Grichuk's in center field. And he's not a center fielder. And then there are days where Eric Sogard is wasting the DH spot when that should be for Drury, Guerrero, or Smoke, or Grichuk. Even with Ender Inciarte back, Atlanta is still having Acuna lead off, which is what Inciarte used to do. And he's playing center field some days, so Riley's back and getting the lineup. And again, their bullpen is full of a lot of starting pitchers. I understand that Acuna's great, but he's not a leadoff hitter, and I understand that Inciarte, before he got hurt, wasn't having an amazing season, but he's been a proven leadoff hitter and a proven Gold Glove caliber center fielder. But they're in first place, so it's working out for them. The National are still batting Adam Eaton in second, even though his best value is the leadoff hitter. The Rangers, again, Joey Gallo playing center field. I know he didn't get hurt playing center field. He had surgery on a broken bone, but it's, again, you have too many guys on your roster who have career innings in center field and more career innings in the outfield. And the fact that they had sent down Ronald Guzman, Joey Gallo should be playing first base. People say, oh, he's got too good of an arm. Yeah, you know why he's got good an arm? Because he's a third baseman who was blocked by Adrian Beltre, which is why he got at bats at first base, DH, and corner outfield before Beltre retired. Now the Twins, Byron Buxton keeps getting hurt, so they keep shifting Max Kepler to center field, which means Rosario is sometimes in right field when he should be in left field, and this playing Aris, the infield prospect they called up in the outfield, and utility player Marwin Gonzalez in right field. You know, on the Astros, he was playing left field, but right field is a little bit of a stretch for Marwin Gonzalez and others. So, and they keep sending J.K. back down to the minor leagues and deciding that, you know what, our backup center fielder for Buxton will be our starting right fielder. And our backup right fielder will be our backup infielder because they have Aris and they have Adrianza. So they got too many infielders on the roster, so that's why Gonzalez or Aris play the outfield. And on days that C.J. Cron doesn't play first base or Nelson Cruz is in DH, it should be Sano playing first base or DH. There's too many times where I see Adrianza playing first base or Aris playing, first base. There's no point. It should be Sano playing first base as much as possible because he's not a great defensive third baseman. And the Mariners, there's no need to DH Omar Narvaez. Maybe you should DH Austin Nola, who's your third catcher on your roster, who, again, I've seen him playing second base. It's okay to play him at first base, but play him at second base? Nah, he should be DHing if you don't have a DH because you're playing Vogelback at first base because you traded your other two DHs early in the season. I know this is an odd idea, but maybe you should play D. Gordon in the outfield with Alex Smith so you don't have to play Moore, who started the year as your backup infielder, Tim Beckham, who was your opening day shortstop in the outfield. Like a guy who has experience there. Because Beckham's played a lot of first base because they needed somebody, and that makes sense. He's an infielder. And again, the Mariners, there's no need to have openers when you have many guys who have started games for you prior to this decision the last couple of months. Like at the beginning of the year, they were starting games for you, and especially when you have guys in your bullpen that also are starting pitchers from other teams that you've gotten over the course of the last couple of months. If they're going to be the opener, why don't you just start them? They can go 4 or 5 innings, and then you can change it over. There's no need to waste them for one inning when they've been a starting pitcher before. On the Angels, Mike Trout batting second, Simmons batting fourth or fifth, not where they should be in the lineup, and Trevor Cahill should be pitching out of the rotation because Andrew Heaney is injured. Matt Harvey got released, and that's basically it. Nobody in the rotation you've heard of, so there's no point of putting Cahill in the pen when you need starters. The Dodgers, again, their alignment of who plays where. Jock Peterson should have no business playing first base as a center fielder. This Beatty guy should play first base. David Freese should play first base. Max Muncy should play first base. There's a lot of Max Muncy at second base because Chris Taylor's injured. But that's why you have Kiki Hernandez. Justin Turner has more career ratings second base than anybody else than Max Muncy did before the season, man. Like, it's going into the season, Justin Turner more innings at second base. But that's just what it is. And they even have their catcher, Barnes, who has played a bunch of innings at second base. I know Verdugo's played well, and A.J. Pollock is back from the DL. Jack Peterson's great, Bellinger's great, but Bellinger's playing first base, not the outfield. I know he's had a lot of outfield assists, and he's an exciting player, but he's not an outfielder. Now, the Marlins stop wasting time with Gal Rojas and Yidi Rivera in the infield. It should be Prado, Starlin Castro, Neil Walker, Brian Anderson, and J.G. Riddle getting all the at-bats in the infield, and Garrett Cooper. There should be no reason to play those two guys. There's no reason to play Cooper and Anderson in the outfield, especially when the Marlins had the interleague matchup with the White Sox. I did not see a Cooper or an Anderson start in the outfield because they had enough people to do that. But the guys that I'm listing, like Rivera and Rojas and even Prado, they're backups. They don't need to play, okay? So if they don't play every day, whoop-de-doo. And the Giants, I don't understand them. Brandon Belt's leading off best. Posey's batting second. And I continue to see guys like Brandon Belt and Stephen Vogt, who are catchers and first basemen, playing the outfield. There's no need for that. Dickerson and Yaz's grandson have been playing well enough, and you call Slater up, so you give enough. And the Rays, man, there was a couple-game stretch where Kiermaier got hurt. They didn't put him on the DL, and Guillermo Herrera was in the minor leagues for some dumb reason. They didn't want to put a real fourth outfielder because they were thinking like, oh, okay, Tommy Pham and Austin Meadows could back up Kiermaier if he gets hurt in a game or he's a day-to-day with an injury. So you would think that if that's their strategy of sending Herrera down, then, they can send him down because they have Pham and Meadows. Both of them are center fielders, respectively, from the National League Central before they came here. Nope, Avi Garcia played center field because Herrera's in the minor leagues, and they didn't have that idea of, Pham and Meadows could play center field for a couple of days because that's what they are. They didn't do that. And I've also seen Ji-Man Choi lead off also. That's silly. And I keep seeing Darno in the leadoff spot or playing first base. The only guy who's playing first base is Yandy Diaz. Now, if Yandy Diaz is injured, that's one thing. But you have both Lau brothers on your roster. Both of them can handle first base. Ji-Man Choi is a quad A player, doesn't need to be on the roster, and now with Matt Duffy officially back, when Yandy Diaz comes back, he should be getting most of the at-bats at first base. And if Kiermaier's out for a long time, Pham or Meadows should slide over to center field, and Avi Garcia plays the corner spot, and then you can DH Yandy Diaz and play a Lau brother at first base. And then the Phillies, Kingery's still the leadoff center fielder despite having Halsey and Roman Quinn on the roster and Nick Williams. They got 3 natural-born outfielders that they could use. But still, Brad Miller and Kingery are playing games in the outfield. Yeah, McCutcheon's out for the year. Yeah, Odubel out for the year. Yeah, Jay Bruce is currently injured. But I just listed 3 outfielders. There's no need. And then the Orioles, in a 7 day week, in a 1 week period, Trey Mancini could be playing right field 2 or 3 days a week, and he can batting second 2 or 3 days a week. He's your best hitter. He should be batting in the middle of the lineup, and she should not be playing the outfield because that hurts his trade value because he's not a great defensive outfielder. And now that Keon Broxton's gone, Dwight Smith Jr. should play center field. Santana's been playing great. He's playing right field. And if you have to play Trey Mancini, you play him in left field. It makes no sense. Wilkerson should be playing second base or left field because he's making bad plays in center field too. Now the A's, interest is Piscotty and Grossman not really being an everyday player. They want to put Chad Pinder, they want to put Cannon in the outfield. Fine, play him in corner spots, but then you just really having two infielders on the corner spots and Liriano's all by himself. It's nice they called up Martini because then they got a real outfielder, but they're not using him to start. They're just using him late in innings to replace these guys. And then I seen in a game Chris Herman, who has career innings in the outfield because the Twins didn't use him at catcher that much, or the Diamondbacks. He's not really an outfielder. But yeah, they're just playing so many guys in the outfield that aren't outfielders. Now the Brewers, a couple of days, Donnie Grandal's leading off. Stop doing that. And Tyler Saldino, stop playing in the outfield. You have Eric Thames and you have Ben Gamble. It's enough. Now, Aldesmi Diaz is back. So Tyler White, who's been playing a lot of first base because Gurriel was shifted to third base because Bregman was playing shortstop because Correa and Diaz were injured. Now that Diaz is back, there's no need to play him at third base or even first base. He should be playing shortstop so that Bregman doesn't have to play shortstop anymore. He could just stay at third base where he should be right now because Correa is going to come back eventually. And there's also no need to play Gurriel some days at third base as well if Aldesmi Diaz is back and he can handle shortstop or even third base if you play Bregman as shortstop. Gurriel now has no competition at first base. A.J. Reed is on the White Sox. Tyler White's on the Dodgers. They have nobody to take away at bats from him unless they play Yordan Alvarez at first base to DH Michael Brantley. They don't. Outside of that, there should be no need to see Gurriel back at third base, and Bregman should be back at third base, and Gurriel should be at first base. Now the Reds, again, Jose Peraza getting starts in the outfield. I know you have Scooter Gennett, I know you have Jose Iglesias, I know you have Derek Dietrich, but Derek Dietrich in Miami played a lot of outfield. He didn't play a lot of second base or third base like he should have. So, and Scooter Gennett, before Milwaukee cut him, he played a lot of outfield and corner infield as well. And then you got yourself the Rockies. I've seen some interesting things now where David Dahl's playing center field even though he's not really a great outfielder, and Dean Desmond playing left field. You made this whole announcement before the season saying Charlie Blackmon is going to officially be the right fielder because they think he's declined defensively in the outfield, and David Dahl is going to take over left field because you know Geraldo Parra and others left via free agency. And Ian Desmond's going to move to center field because you signed Daniel Murphy to play first base, even though you also had Mark Reynolds. But why now go, so you know what, we'll play Ian Desmond in left field and we'll play Dahl in center field. You can just keep Blackmon in center field if you're not going to play Desmond in center field, or even use Raimel Tapia in center field. And again, I've seen Tony Walters play second base. You have Daniel Murphy. He should play second base. Okay, there's enough bodies on this roster who have been filling in when Story's been hurt. Okay, so they could play second base. There's no need to play Tony Walters second base. And then I see him playing third base. You have Ryan McMahon. You got so many guys on this roster. Murphy, I've said again, who can all play third base. Don't need to play your catcher at third base because if the Rockies are smart, they'll flip Iannetta and Walters will be the starting catcher, so there's no need to put him in the infield. Now the Cardinals, despite having O'Neill and Bader in the outfield and Jose Martinez to go along with Dexter Fowler, they got 4 outfielders right there. I'm seeing Munoz, who's a backup utility player who's a shortstop by trade. He's playing the outfield. He's not doing well in the outfield, so I don't know what they're doing there. Phillies, no need to bat Rhys Hoskins second. Cesar Hernandez or Segura can handle that, or even Kingery. Forgot to add that to the Phillies. Now the Pirates again. Jose Ozuna, I've seen him play a lot of center field. I've also seen him a lot of play first base and a lot of third base. So he's also played middle infield. You got Kramer, you got Newman, you got Frazier, you got all these guys who can play middle infield. There's no need to play Kyle Moran unless it's first base or third base, so no second base for him. And the Padres again, no need to play Hunter Renfroe. You don't have Dickerson anymore, and Cordero's injured, but Jankowski just came back. But you said, nah, we'll go with Josh Naylor and Reyes and Renfroe and Myers. All of them are corner outfielders. Nah. And then we'll also play Renfroe in center field some games. Not a good idea. Okay, and that was the weekly baseball observations. I'm Radar. Tune in next week for another weekly baseball observation for On the Radar Entertainment blog.